Hi there, this is Mama Mary Lou, and I thought I would share my story also about my testimony instead of just my poem today. It is called The Most Unforgettable Summer Ever. And I wrote it from the perspective of telling your teacher about the summer when they always ask you what kind of summer you had. It was a crisp, moist morning with frosty lavender fog hovering at shore level, with the brisk breeze making my long, straight, dirty blonde hair flutter back and forth, dancing in front of my pink yet porcelain face, exclaimed Jessica Lee. The question was, what did you do over your summer vacation? Enough about the weather. Did you go to a summer camp, travel, or do anything exciting? Interrupted Mr. David. Well, let's see. There was days at the coast where my family went camping, that my 12-year-old brother and I would go exploring. We crept and tiptoed into the darkness of many spooky wet caves. We were detectives on a mysterious case looking for curious clues. We climbed up crooked rock walls, barefooted for more natural traction. The jagged slopes and plateaus were conquered almost every time. Slowly, steadily up to be king and queen of the mount. Okay, is that all? Blurted Mr. David. No, it's not. Then we raced out to boulders that had the swift, shallow water rush around them when the tide came in. We made a dash for the close-by shore as the foamy waves went back out. After that, we carved in smooth steps on the side of a descending cliff down to the beach. The dirt stairway took days to make with hard work daily, but after the steps were done, it saved us several minutes of walking and gave us more time to play on the sandy shore. We collected twisted and curved driftwood that had a life of its own, each one with its own unique character. Some were venomous snakes trying to bite us, and others were awesome-looking walking sticks. We spent hours on end gazing at countless sparkling agates amongst the zillions of tiny pebbles and tan sand. They were treasures of some sort or another in our imagination, and we were rich for a day in a wealth of famous jewels. And then, is that all, Miss Jessica? Asked Mr. David. Not yet, there's more. All four of us would sit and enjoy the brilliance of the glowing orange sunsets reflecting off the glistening, calm ocean surface. Snuggling next to each other on comfortable, fluffy pillows in our creaking aluminum and canvas lawn chairs, we roasted plump marshmallows over a crackling, warm campfire while the hanging ball of glowing orange snuck down slowly out of sight. If I was cold still, I would feel very special when Daddy would use his big hands over one of my tiny chilled hands, rubbing back and forth, creating a friction of kindness and warmth to my little fingers until they were toasty. And then the other hand until the chill was gone and I was cozy once more. Sometimes on frigid, rainy days when Skip and my daddy didn't go fishing for any big ones, or Skip and I didn't go exploring the landscape, we drew. There were hours of rose petals, tanks, and animals getting sketched and copied. The firm but gentle way my dad held his pencil and the flow onto the blank slate was a tender sight to see. The empty pages into amazing works waited to be duplicated by my brother and I. The closeness of the homemade motorhome kept us near. "Are you done yet?" said Mr. David a little squeamishly. "Not by a long shot, Mr. David. You should go ahead and sit down, sir. Thank you." Daddy taught us how to clean several huge ocean fish, but the weirdest one that I ever saw was the flat, wide flounder fish with two eyes staring up at me. I had never seen such a funny-looking fish in my life. With its two eyes, both on the top of it, the fish looked as though it was deformed or a figment of my imagination, but it wasn't. I believe my daddy because he knows what he is talking about, and I saw it with my own two brown eyes. We helped a nearby fisherman pull in an 80-something pound lingcod with this huge green net that was about as big as me. With Daddy, Skip, the other fisherman, and I, we got that struggling, fighting fish to the shore. It was longer than I was after all. I couldn't hardly believe it. We went up on this rock ledge to fish from the top. The view down to the ocean waves was enormously scary and exciting. Sprinkles and splashes of misty salt water would cover us in a cool dampness. We cuddled ourselves with jackets and rubber boots to keep from getting too cold. Putting those minnows on the hook was a scaly, slippery challenge, but as a mature 10-year-old, I could do it all by myself. I was as brave as a superhero and tough as anyone around. I would catch some big ones with the boys if it meant shivering and waiting for hours for that one huge bite. I knew if I waited long enough that I would catch a monster of a fish soon. It wasn't a monster, it was a pale orange 4-inch long perch that I caught. Why couldn't I catch a shark or something to prove I could hang out with the boys? I guess a perch is better than nothing. You must be done by now, Jessica Lee. We need to move on, explained Mr. David. Not quite, Mr. David, but I'm almost done. The most important part I haven't got to yet. Then there were days that the sun was rising with the essence visually of a half scoop of neon raspberry ice cream. Steadily, it became a vivid full scoop of mystic pink glowing onto the edges of nearby clouds, creating a picturesque sky of God's beauty and tranquility. I would quietly enjoy nature highlighted in a brilliance of magenta, listening to a variety of songbirds serenading the rising of a new day, sipping hot cocoa wrapped with a fuzzy throw blanket. One day, when we were playing poker, I had 5 queens because of the wild deuce and won everybody. Even though my daddy had 4 aces, I thought that was the greatest thing ever. Another day, I woke up to a masculine fragrance that came from bright white shaving cream and Old Spice in a bottle. I watched Daddy slowly and precisely stroke his his soft, bristled shaving brush over his rough face, spreading it perfectly. I watched intently as all the stubble turned to a smooth, tan, handsome face once again. On a foggy, cool afternoon in May, I went to call my dad and Skip for lunch as my mom finished cooking. They had gone fishing on a fishing trip of their own, probably before the crack of dawn. As I strolled barefooted down the side of the beach road, I could see 2 figures in matching flannel shirts and black rubber boots in the distance beyond the plateau. Dad was carrying 2 handsful of wobbling fishing gear and came to the steep hill where there was a rope to hold on to. This hill wasn't made into steps yet, and the long, thick rope was supposed to help people up the hill. But since Daddy's hands were full, he just started up the hill, struggling along. All of a sudden, the equipment dropped to the dusty ground. Daddy went down to his knees as kneeling and then fell forward. We called some people that were near the edge of the plateau, and one gave quick CPR while the other called the distant hospital. As my brother stayed with Daddy, I went running barefooted back to the homemade motorhome to get my mommy. When we got back, the man said it was too late. He's gone. The ambulance driver said that the book must have his name. That night, an angel came to see me as I cried. But at 10, I was scared, ran out of the room, and rocked on my mom's lap all night long. I wish I would have had the courage to stay and be comforted by the golden, orange, glowing spirit that visited me. Even though I didn't stay to pray with the guardian angel, I still am comforted because I saw the truth with my own 2 brown eyes. That's all, sobbed Jessica Lee as she sat back down at her desk amongst silence as the quietness was broken by the ring of the dismissal bell. She slowly walked to get a hug from Mr. David as the other children left the classroom with moist cheeks and a more open heart. Amen. Written with love by Mary Lou Blackwood. Mama Mary Lou. Have a blessed day.